Now, this ANC and DA allegiance, this pact, this deal, this merger, this amalgamation, if the DA really is an equal partner, this is going to impact Zimbabwe, and this will be actually selling out, or rather a selling out of this ANC, selling out against all the revolutionary parties in SADC, those parties, of course, which they stand in solidarity with. We saw when President Emmerson Mnangagwa became president, one of the first people to congratulate him was Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa. Then we also, the support that the ZANU-PF was giving to the ANC during the elections, and the support that the ANC gives to ZANU-PF during the election. So this also touch on other factors like what happens within the SADC board, the decisions, the votes, where we see countries standing by each other, with each other. Now with DA in the picture, it is going to be a different play. That is if the DA is an equal partner in this. So far, the DA is compromised. So far, I don't see the power which the DA wields or holds.
Thank you, Dr. Clarence, for that insight. I just want to take you back. Initially, we saw the MK taking a stance of boycotting parliament, but recently we saw a news conference where the MK now changed their position to say they are going to take their seats in parliament as part of the opposition alliance. What implication would this have to the prospect of success of the DA-ANC alliance, coalition, or GNE, what you might want to call it?
This alliance of the opposition, or the official opposition to the unit government, we're seeing an alliance of smaller opposition parties called the Progressive Caucus. Of course, they're trying to consolidate their power. They're trying to create a voice that can be heard. So we'll be seeing the EFF and the Umkhonto weSizwe measuring to form the official opposition in government. Obviously, that will give them more power. That will give them more respect. Jacob Zuma, the way he was taking, of course, he was politicking, but he was becoming unpopular. Now, with this measure of opposition in parliament, they will become more popular. Should they have an alliance in the next South Africa election, obviously these guys will cause damage to the ANC, because the ANC can never enter an election alliance with the DA. But the EFF and Umkhonto weSizwe, if they sit down and they strategize, they can be a threat to ANC's future, especially with what the people of South Africa saw and with what the entire world saw, that of course, the ANC can be reduced like that.
Just let us take a broader look. What is the implication to the SADC as a region, or to the African Union as an entire body, the new formation of political forces in South Africa?
Of course, South Africa is the biggest economy in SADC, right? And when South Africa makes a statement or voices anything on any issue concerning SADC, concerning Africa, concerning anything in Africa, the international community listens to South Africa. what South Africa says is listened to. So their opinion or their say on the happenings in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, in Malawi, in SADC, in the entire African region, South Africa is a very big, influential voice. Apart from SADC, in SADC, should ANC be compromised, we'll be seeing now new pro-democracy movements. Of course, all movements are pro-democracy, but the so-called pro-democracy movements taking hold in Africa. Already we are seeing in Zambia, there is an opposition political party that removed the Revolutionary Party there. Also in Malawi, right? Now, South Africa, we're seeing that the ANC has sold out liberation movements. It is now compromised. So this will affect the political party system in the region. Now, SADC principles and guidelines governing democratic elections. Also, these nations have a say on all this. Remember when Zambia was speaking on Zimbabwe elections, the issue was that they didn't get much support in speaking against the Zimbabwe election. There's a difference between speaking against and just remaining silent. Just remaining silent is not necessarily not supporting, right? We saw South Africa, ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa congratulating and acknowledging President Emmerson Mnangagwa, but other nations, it's like they remained silent. If Zambia had two more nations on its side, then it was going to be another story. Now, in South Africa, the DA can just make statements on their own prerogative, even without the ANC, and the international community will just forcibly recognize the voice of the DA, because we all know where the West stands concerning the happenings in Zimbabwe and in SADC as a whole. Then the other issue, the relationship between South Africa and Russia. What is going to happen there? Will there be a shift? There may be a shift, but I doubt if there's going to be a shift. Remember, South Africa is now part of the BRICS nations, which are pro-China, pro-Russia, and the DA is pro-America, pro-England. So again, we may see some tension if the DA is holding the ANC at ransom, in that the ANC may need the support of the DA to stay in power.
Thank you so much, Dr. Clarence. We have been on air for more than 10 minutes now. We intended it to be under 15 minutes. I know we have got a lot to discuss on this channel. Do you have any final words for the viewers of Champions Network? What can they expect from this channel going forward?
More consistent broadcasting, and obviously listening to the viewer, right? Obviously, viewer opinion is very much welcome. Viewer opinion is different from trolling. There's trolling, right? And then there is helping to build, right? I'm not talking of constructive criticism. Constructive criticism, that phrase is mainly used by people who do not want to construct anything. But I'll just say construction. I'll just say construction is welcome, because that is the only way anybody can grow. Because when we open the floodgates to opinion, to comments, straight up, they will come straight up. We are all human beings.
Yeah. So let me just wind up the broadcast. Thank you, viewers, for choosing Champions Network. We shall be consistent in giving you current news, opinions, what is happening. It may not only be around Africa, the entire world. So keep tuned to our channel. Thank you so much, and thank you, Dr. Clarence, for taking your time this evening to share your opinion and your thoughts and the expert
Yes.
analysis of what is happening in South Africa. So thank you, everybody.
And also to